For many years, if you're a reseller or a business seller selling your own products, eBay has been the go-to platform to use. It has a massive global reach, enjoying a massive market share. Now, I wanted to check if that's going to continue going into 2025. So this video is about eBay's current performance, the challenges they're facing, and if you are a business seller, what you can do about it going into the new year. So if you're new to the channel, my name is Kieran Hughes Jones. I'm an antique dealer. I'm based in South Wales in the UK, and I've been selling on eBay now for many years, ever since I got started. More recently, I've set up my own website, which is taliesinantiques.com, and I sell on other platforms such as Vinted, Vinteria, and Antiques Boutique. eBay still remains just about my main selling platform, and it has been for many years. The reason for that is it offers a really good marketplace for someone like me to get started. It has a global reach, it's where most of the buyers have been going, and it has really good features such as the global shipping program, which, if you're not aware of that, it makes international shipping a lot easier. eBay take a lot of the responsibility for that. However, in 2024, I started to notice that my views and sales have started to drop, and it started to feel to me like eBay doesn't have that global dominance that it once had, certainly when I was getting started. So I wanted to find out if that definitely was the case. So let's have a look into what I found out. So first of all, I wanted to have a look into how eBay is performing globally. It is a global business, and its overall health affects everyone who's selling on the platform across the world. So first of all, I found this report by Reuters, which was published in October the 30th, 2024. And it tells us that eBay is forecasting lower than expected revenues for Q4. This has raised concern amongst investors, and the company's stock price has dropped as a result. Now, the reasons cited for this drop in the article are as follows. The broader economy is still fluctuating, and customers are cautious about discretionary spending. Additionally, eBay has been under pressure as inflation hits shoppers become increasingly choosy about their online purchases. So this isn't just about inflation and economic pressures. There's a broader issue here for eBay, which is they are at the mercy of how the economy is performing. If this is what discretionary spending is all about, it's based on if people can afford it at that given time. Now, what that gives the impression of is that eBay is still seen as potentially the more expensive place to buy the type of items you get from a marketplace like that. And if eBay is unable to adapt to this and offer compelling incentives for both buyers and sellers, then they're at a very big risk of losing a lot of their market share. Their competitors, which we will come on to in this video, are probably going to be better placed to do this, having only just started their platforms, and as a result probably being seen as a cheaper place to spend your money. So that's how we were looking on the global scale. I'm now going to look into how eBay is performing more specifically in the UK. So as of today, eBay hasn't released any forecasts for how they're expecting to perform at the end of Q4, so within Q4 within this year. But on October the 1st, 2024, there was a significant change implemented. Private sellers were no longer going to pay sellers' fees for the items they sell. Business sellers would continue paying fees as normal, which are around 20%. So this gathered a lot of media attention, a lot more than eBay are used to, and also they started an advertising campaign on TV to promote the fact that now private sellers could benefit from this. There was an email sent out to business sellers, which I'll read out. This was sent out to justify the changes. So helping private sellers helps your business. In Germany, we recently launched a similar free to sell program, and a lot of new customers joined our marketplace to start selling. But all those new customers didn't just sell, hundreds of thousands of them started buying, and they ended up buying twice as much as buyers who don't sell. 80% of the time, they were buying from you, business sellers. We believe this is going to drive more buyers to your business. Now, everything I found online seems to give credence to this. It did seem to have a good impact in Germany, and sales increased as a result. I couldn't see any specification whether the main beneficiaries of this was business sellers, but there certainly was an increase in revenue within Germany because of this change. It's too early to tell and to give a make a conclusion on whether it's been effective in the UK, but there are certain signs that we can see at the minute. So there's data from a website called similarweb.com, which has a look at traffic into different websites, and that indicates an increase in visits from September to October. However, I would point out October the 1st is when this move was gathering all the media attention and when the advertising started to ramp up. October's traffic lags behind August. So it's not really giving a massive, thumbs up to say that this move worked out exceptionally well. There's some more data I found from a website called Grips Intelligence, which is reporting a 12% revenue growth for eBay.co.uk over the last 12 months, which sounds good, but you have to keep that within perspective and context. I've not been able to find any comparable data from other years, so who's to say whether that's a good thing? That could just be seasonal changes, or it could be anything, but it's an indicator, so I think it's only fair to report that. So that's the information I can find out about how eBay is performing in the UK at the minute. It is more limited. What I can do is show you data from my own performance on eBay. Now, as I mentioned, I've been selling on eBay for many years. I always, for the last couple of years, have had around 350 products for sale on my profile or my shop. I'd probably say, if anything, I have more items for sale now than I did 12 months ago. That's how I've been trying to build my business. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the traffic into my items and do a comparison between 2023 and 2024. So we'll start with November 2023. So we'll have a look at the impressions. Now, impressions means how many times my listing has been scrolled past. So it doesn't mean click on, it just means if someone does a search and my item shows up, that's how many times that would have been seen. So in November 2023, I had 3.25 million. Then 9,445 views. I sold 69 items and my sales conversion was 0.7%. Now let's compare that to 2024. The impressions were 2.5 million, so that's down from 3.25 million. Views 7,613, down from 9,445 the previous year. I sold 28 items, down from 69 the previous year, and my sales conversion was 0.4%, so down from 0.7% the year before. Okay, so that's November. It's not fair to have a look at just 1 month. I'm now going to show you the same comparison between 2023 and 2024 for October. So impressions in 2023 October, 3.7 million. Views 10,876. Sold 88 items. Conversion 0.8%. We'll now move on to October 2024 and do a comparison. So impressions were 2.6 million, that's down from 3.7 million the previous year. And views were 8,463, down from 10,876 the previous year. Sold 31, down from 88. And the conversion was 0.4%, down from 0.8%. So it's clear that, if I start looking at my Q4 performance year on year, there's been a clear drop in my performance on eBay between 2023 and 2024. Just to give a bit of a wider perspective of how I'm performing, I wanted to give you a view of 3 months over the summer months. So we're going to look at between June and August 2023 in comparison to 2024. So we'll start with 2023 first of all. Again, this is June to August. Impressions were 9.8 million, views 26,000, sold 199, and the conversion was 0.8%. Then in 2024, we were at 7.5 million. That's down on impressions from 9.8 million. Views were 25k. That's only 1,000 less than the previous year. Sold 151, so that's down from 199 the previous year. And my conversion was 0.6%, which is down from 0.8% in the previous years. So what that's showing is that yes, 2024 has been a drop in performance on my shop, particularly in Q4, and I just think that's interesting, and that matches up with what eBay were forecasting for their global performance moving into Q4. Now look, I'm one shop, it doesn't give a full picture, but it gives an indication, and maybe that's something, if you're on the site yourself, if you're selling on eBay, that might be something worth checking out and seeing how you're getting on compared to the previous years. Another issue with eBay that I wanted to highlight, and I think this is going to become more of a concern as time goes by because eBay are really pushing this very hard, is promoted listings. So what this is when you're listing an item, you have an option of putting a toggle on promoted listings, and what this does is boost your search results. So you will show up, the more you pay, the higher you will show up in the search results. The minimum is 2%, but eBay have a preset suggested amount, a suggested ad rate, and that is apparently based on what the average ad rate is for items in that category, and they give you that percentage, and it's, the idea is that you should try and get above average. Now you can see why eBay might do this as a way to generate more revenue for them, but I'm not sure it's as wise as it sounds. And what I'm seeing is that it just keeps creeping up. That suggested ad rate, the average amount, is just going up and up. I have a bit of proof of this as well because I list my items on the eBay app, and I've been noticing a glitch because without fail, my rule across the board on promoted listings is I set my promotion at 2%. That's the most I'm willing to pay extra towards eBay. I don't really mind where that puts me in the search results. That's the most I'm willing to pay. But I type in 2%, I list the item, and then I realise sometimes after it's sold that it's glitched back and reverted to the suggested ad rate. I've had a few discussions with eBay about this. They've acknowledged it's an issue, but they haven't fixed it as of yet. Now, what I have managed to do off the back of that is capture some screenshots of how that suggested ad rate has gone up, because that happened about a month ago. I went back on the listing and I've noticed that the glitch has happened, and you will see in the screenshots I've got two examples. My ad rate was set as 11.6%, and the new suggested ad rate for the same item, same category, is now 15.4%. That's gone up in a month. And another example, which is not as big a jump, but still a jump, 11.3%, and now the suggested ad rate is 12%. So yeah, it's giving a good indication that this promoted ad listing is going up and up, and people are putting higher and higher percentage. Now, what's the result of this? What type of platform is this creating for eBay? And what I'd say is, if you ever think about who's showing up at the top of those listings, they're the people who have typed in the highest amount, the highest percentage they're willing to pay eBay to show up at the top. Now, how are they going to afford to pay for that? How are they going to pay off eBay their whatever percentage they're giving them? Either they're going to be getting their items so cheap that it's worth the while for them, which is debatable, it's not going to happen all the time, or the alternative is that they are passing that cost on to the buyer. They're pricing their items at a higher price point to pay off whatever they're paying in the promoted ad rate. What this is creating is a system where your success is based on how much you're willing to pay eBay extra to buy that success effectively. And those sellers at the top of those listings, are they really who eBay want their customers seeing as their first search results? Most customers, I imagine, get turned off straight away. If they see a high price point, they probably just leave the platform and look elsewhere. So it might seem like a good idea on the face of it, a good way to generate more revenue, but I don't think eBay have truly considered what impact that has had on how their marketplace now feels and what the buyers are now seeing when they're searching for their items. So this is a growing concern for me, and I think eBay would be well advised to rethink this strategy going forward. Okay, so I just wanted to see if there's evidence of shifts in the competition, whether eBay's competition now are starting to see a growth. We're going to first of all have a look at Etsy, who have been eBay's main competitor in their marketplace for a long time now. And according to this article from Reuters on October the 30th, 2024, that's actually the same date as the previous Reuters article that we read through, Etsy surpassed their sales expectations in Q3, and the company is attributing their success to consistent demand for handmade and vintage items from their loyal customer base. So I'm not actually on Etsy. I did dabble with it a few years ago. My main concern were their fees as well. I thought they were too similar to eBay. But who knows, maybe I was wrong about that, and that's something I need to have another look at, and maybe other sellers do as well. Let's have a look at Vinted as well. So if you're in the UK, most people now know of Vinted. They're gaining a lot of attention and a lot of publicity. So they appear to be growing rapidly, and there was a report in the Financial Times that their revenue has increased in 2023 by 61%, now reaching 596 million euros. This year, Vinted expanded into new marketplaces, including electronics, books and toys, and video games. So they're now clearly moving into this market and trying to get a larger share of the second-hand goods market. In October 2024, more good news for Vinted was that they raised €340 million through a share sale, boosting their value to 5 billion. So whereas eBay are having concerns about their sales and their potential growth or their place in the market, it seems to be a different story when you look at Vinted. Another one I wanted to look at were TikTok Shop. These are very much new players on the market as well. So according to the Times, TikTok has doubled, TikTok Shop that is, have doubled the number of businesses selling on their platform in the UK in the last year. Their focus on live shopping events has been the game changer. Some sellers are making over £1 million during single live streams. And there's another article here from emarketer.com on the 27th of November this year, and it's talking about how TikTok is forecasting record sales for the Christmas period this year. So there's a lot of evidence here to suggest that the competitors are feeling a bit different to eBay at the minute in terms of how their future is looking, and you just have to think about why that might be. Of course, they've got these innovative new ways of doing things. They've got that, that new feel of new kids on the block, and a lot of customers are just drawn to that feeling of going to these alternative players, especially when you have someone so established in the marketplace like eBay. A new player is always going to be attractive to people who like being, like a new feel of a new company. I would also point out fees are going to be a big part of that. And especially when you look at Vinted and TikTok, their fee system is totally different to eBay. And as a result, everything's going to be probably a lot cheaper to buy on there. And that's where customers are going to go as a result. So again, that's how the competitors are looking at the minute. Okay, so what can business sellers do, taking into consideration this potential shift in the market? Now, I've come up with three options or three recommendations. Number one is to stay informed. Now, if you're on eBay and you're established on there, you have no intention of moving off there, fair play to you. I don't blame you at all. This actually could just be a blip. It could be that, we review it in a few months' time and eBay has turned things around. There's been a shift in the marketplace. However, what I just recommend is just stay informed on what's happening, see what's going on with competitors, keep an eye on what's happening on your own shop and look at your own trends, because this is going to inform your decisions moving forward, help you make the best decisions for your business. That includes how much you're going to pay for your stock going forward, what items you're buying, how you price your products as well. So that would be my first recommendation. Number two is you can diversify. You have now got an option which wasn't so much an option a few years ago. Diversify and sell your items on multiple platforms. We've talked about a few already: Etsy, Vinted and TikTok Shop. There's others out there as well, which I haven't mentioned. So go out and do your research and see what can be done. There's no harm in getting more eyes on your products across different platforms. It actually helps build a brand as well. If you keep your branding consistent across those different platforms, that's going to be really good, and a really good way to get recognized and build that brand identity. Also, cross list. There's no harm in doing this. I think some resellers are sometimes skeptical, if I can say that right, about cross listing your items. You have every right to do this. The item belongs to you and you can sell it wherever you want. You just have to be on the ball, and if the item sells on one platform and you only got one of it, make sure to get it off the other one as soon as possible. The third recommendation, and this is the biggest one for me, is everyone has the option to start their own website and to get out there and take control of their own destiny. So by having your own website, you control how your products are presented, you can control how it looks, how the branding gets across, anything additional you want to do. If you want to start blogging or doing articles or whatever else you thought about, you can do that on your own website. I started mine not that long ago. I think it was less than a year ago now. It escapes me, probably about 6 to 8 months ago, and I'm already getting 10,000 views on my listings per month. Take into consideration, I haven't optimized my website yet for SEO searches and good at Google Ads and that type of thing. I'm still very much early days, and I'm already seeing those sort of views. So it goes to show that it is possible, and you can really sort of drive a good website and build up your own branding, get those good relationship with customers and take it on from there. So the other thing I'll say about my own website, I almost forgot about it, is if I have items which are for sale on eBay and they're always more expensive than on my website because of the fees involved, then I've had it a number of times now that people see the item on eBay, they do a bit of research on it, and they find my website where the item is at a cheaper price, and then they buy it from my website, and that's beneficial to them and it's beneficial to me because they get the item cheaper. I actually get more money because I'm not paying the fees, so we kind of meet in the middle, and instead of paying the money to eBay, we keep it amongst ourselves. So again, it's a really good option to take on board. So they're my 3 recommendations going forward. Okay, so my conclusion, going into 2025, eBay is still a significant platform, but performance does seem to be declining, whereas with their competitors, they seem to be growing at a rapid rate, and they seem to offer really good incentives for both buyers and sellers. eBay is potentially starting to alienate both buyers and sellers with their fee structure, and I think the promoted listing is going to be the thing that they're not really picking up on, which is actually causing them a lot of harm. So look, I'm not here to bash eBay at all. I really hope that they turn things around. I want to continue using eBay as I have done for many years. But I have to be realistic and really consider what's happening and make changes as a result of that to sustain my business. I do want to highlight again actually that the global shipping program is a great feature for eBay. It really offers something different, really opens up those international markets, and I think if the competitors want to take on anything from eBay, that might be something for them to establish, although I understand that's very expensive for them to do. So there we go, there's a video. I hope you enjoyed it, especially if you're in the reseller business yourself and it's something that you're doing. I'll be very interested in hearing your thoughts on how it's going for you and if you think there's anything I missed. Of course, I'm looking at it from a very specific perspective of antiques and vintage items, which is what I sell. However, if you're in a totally different area when it comes to business selling on eBay, then it may look like it's a bit different, and comment because it'd be worth hearing your perspective. Now, if you're interested in antiques or reselling in general, or just a journey of starting your own business, I'd ask that you subscribe to my channel because that's what it's all about. I've done several videos which talks about those things. And if it's just this video that you've been interested in, then if you could like it, share it, do all that stuff, I would appreciate it as well. So thank you for watching and goodbye.